Select Board's meeting, August 6, 2019. In attendance, Chairman Fox, Vice Chairman Moglen, Clerk Joe Didi, Mr. Steinhardt, and Mrs. Pendleton.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Select Board meeting for Tuesday, August 6, 2019. The first thing we have is public comments. It's anyone that is not on the agenda that would like to make a statement to the Select Board. This is your opportunity. We ask if you'd like to make a statement, if you please stand and state your name and address. Is there anyone here at this time that would like to make a statement? Seeing none, we will go right to take care of a few things. Our first appointment is at 6:10. To acknowledge payables warrant number 2003B dated 7/29/19 in the amount of $247,122.24. Payroll warrant number 2003 dated 8/5/19 in the amount of $228,041.66. Payables warrant number 2004B dated 8/6/19 in the amount of $430,419.30. We next need a motion to accept the minutes of 7/23/19.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. I don't believe we have any executive minutes, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Then, we can go on to the action folder. I just need to find the action folder. Okay. A1 is a request from Randy Brown, DPW Director, regarding Claus Anderson Road Bridge Design request. This is a secured grant from a municipal vulnerability preparedness program that we were successful. And the total cost of this proposal is $128,056. And this is,
Already signed it.
okay. So just a motion to reaffirm?
Yep. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Cindy? A2 is again from DPW Director Randy Brown. It's concerning his recommendation for a stormwater coordinator. This was a position that was posted, and we had 2 applicants.
Yep.
And Randy is recommending Jonathan Goddard.
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 Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know.
What?
This is a part-time position.
The stormwater.
No, yeah.
He has 10 years of experience working for Levesque and Associates, so he's familiar with the town and a lot of the projects
Yeah.
in front of the town.
Okay.
Yeah, he's no longer.
No, I got that.
Yeah, he was someplace else for last year.
But he's not allowed to leave if we take him. So you need to wrap this up where he's stuck here.
Okay. So moved.
Great
Well,
guy.
this is a start.
He's a great guy.
This is a start, I know.
Very thorough. Me and Doug
He has the
have
skill
dealt with him
set.
on the planning board for years.
Right.
I was just shocked to see this in front of us.
Okay, I need a
In a good
motion.
way?
We got a
Yeah.
motion?
Sure.
Need a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we'll sign it.
But you know, so
Yeah.
in 6 months when he's thinking about leaving, you say, I'm so sorry. That signature you signed, you're here
Yeah,
for
it's a
10 years.
5-year deal,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
5-year deal.
Well, I was thinking about 1 year. That's what I said.
2.
For himself.
2. Or you lost.
Okay.
Oh, I can't believe that.
All right, A3.
His wife on it.
This is from Detective Sergeant Thomas Krutka. This is in regards to the town's National Night Out. I don't see the Sergeant Krutka here tonight with Chief Bishop or Lieutenant Landis wish to expound on this at this time?
I'll start off with the beginning, something that's never been done in the town of Southwick before, something that's done on a national level where you open up the community, invite everybody into an evening to spend it with our police department. We have our cruisers on display, we have other items on display. But besides that, we're going with it, but the responsibility is given to the lieutenant to make it happen. So you want to explain a little bit more about what's going on with it?
Well, Tommy's invited some members of the National Guard, he has contacts to come in, some other police agencies, cadets will do some child identification things. It's just a night to come out and kind of see what all the different services have to offer. The fire departments will be part of it, there'll be hamburgers, hot dogs,
State police helicopters,
dunking booth for the chief in
no,
there.
police commissioners, I think it was, we voted on that.
I thought it was the chief, it was unanimous.
We would invite the police commissioners also if they want to be present that evening. We'll be right at Ripley Park from 5 to 9.
5 to 9, and this is Wednesday, August 28th. There's a local organization that's been selling Support Southwick police signs to raise money for the RAD program. You think Sergeant Krucka would allow them to sell those signs there that night?
Yeah, I was looking at tomorrow, I'll talk to him.
Okay, thank you.
Anything?
I think this is just an FYI.
Just FYI, and an invite that if you'd like to come make yourself known as police commissioners to your community, we're more than happy to have you also.
You won't be behind bars, Russ, you'll be on the other side of the bars finally. It'll be a different experience. No?
I'll check with my probation officer first thing tomorrow.
If the bracelet works, you'll be fine.
I think, yeah, I don't think that's too far, you know. Yep, okay. We've got a couple more minutes before we have our first appointment. Number 4, A4, and this is concerning Code Red,
Well, yeah,
which
'cause
is
now-
our
now
new,
that- Now that you've migrated on to Code Red as your new vendor,
instead of Connect City.
right, and this is the last time you adopted this policy was in 2008, so you should, if there's any review or any other changes you'd like to make in this policy, you know, besides changing the name of the vendor and all that, you should look it over the next week or two and let me know so that we can make whatever changes we need to make, at the very least, the Code Red, and we'll have to be substituted for the Connect City.
Could you reach out to the police chief, fire chief, emergency management to get their input?
Sure.
And I know Lakes Management utilizes it when we close the lake, so.
Right.
What's on here?
Right, those are all in there now in terms of how we do it. It has to do with also how you control access to it so that
Okay.
not too many people are accessing it and using it.
No, I'm just saying if we can make sure people are aware of the policy, and if there was anything that they thought that we might need to change, now's the time.
Oh, yeah, I'll let the police and fire chiefs know. It's not
Okay.
a long reach there.
All right, so that's tabled. A5 from Police Chief Kevin Bishop regarding donations to the police gift account of $125 in the memory of Lucille Silva. Okay, so we need a motion to accept that. And I'm looking real quick.
There's 4 altogether,
There's 4 people.
There's more chairman.
4 donations.
Okay, but that donation there was from Richard and Lynette Bewley and Ann and Robert Clark. And then we have a $50 donation to the police gift account ledger of, in memory of Janice Camisa, wife of former police officer. And that came from this list, Kevin. Birmingham, Kevin and Carol Bishop, Susan Edward Hepburn, Kenneth Johnson, Dante Malta, and Lynn Gould. So I need a motion to accept all those donations.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we'll just sign this top copy.
Good for your point, sir.
We're good for that? Okay. Mr. Patel, if you want to come up, we're gonna take you now. Good. We wanted to bring you in just to see if we could get an update on what's going on.
Yeah, they're working on it to the
Today,
2 days.
Today?
Yeah, last week, they did all the parking lot today, big part.
the paving place finally opened up, you think?
We did all the
I
concrete.
don't wanna see
I did
that.
all the concrete, no paving.
Okay.
So we did
The
all
whole
the
thing's in concrete?
Yeah, whole thing is in
Can I see it?
concrete.
Took long enough.
I know, that's guys, they keep extending the day, and that's what it is. Last week I was
So when we
busy with
open it?
that. I'm planning to get probably the September 1st at the most, I think is as soon as I let it go.
So by the time the snow falls,
Oh, that before that, no way.
I'll put a personal bet of $1 that'll be when the snow falls. Okay, that's below my gift account, right? So I'm okay
Yeah.
with $1. Right.
Yeah.
We want that finished.
I
Come on,
wanted
you're
that
killing
too.
me.
No, I want it to be too.
Yeah.
Every day, so, they're working on, I'm here every day.
I promise you the new development, it's going in. You
Yep.
said you'd be open.
They're working on it and we're working on it also. Also, we got the new gas line put it into the building.
Yeah.
And that's the reason we was waiting also, because the new line, they get into the building before we do the paving.
Right.
Because
That's
otherwise
done.
they have to, that's done also.
Okay.
So they bring it in the new gas line in the building
So
too.
now we're tearing up in front of your place with that water line, I think, right? We
Yes,
have
they're
another
working
headache.
right now
Yeah.
on it. They're almost just a little bit finished, that
Right.
area.
Well, that's why you're waiting for us to finish the road for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Mr. Moglen, any
Finance to the license.
questions or thoughts?
The liquor license?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew more people would show up looking for that liquor license.
Yeah, I'm
and-
looking too, the full liquor.
No, you're
For the liquor license.
for the liquor license. We went and approved you, and now people are knocking on the door
I'll
for
be
it.
there, I'll be
So,
there.
let's go.
We open it ASAP. As soon as those guys done, I'll be opening soon. I'm waiting for it too.
Okay. I don't want to see you at Christmas.
No, before that, definitely. Definitely before
please.
that. Before that.
So you got all the money tied up, right? I mean, you want it open too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Paying interest every single day and the mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Big part.
Yeah.
Doug?
No, I think Mr. Didi said it eloquently enough.
All right, we thank you,
so
Mr.
much.
Patel.
Sorry about
And,
that.
No, it's good. Just
Yeah, but in
Go,
the
go, go.
process.
if for some reason
Fire
you
chief
run
happy?
into a snag, could you please contact our
Yeah.
office
No problem.
so that we keep a line of communication
No, it's
open?
not gonna be.
how's the baby?
It's good.
You're a grandfather.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. That's why the last week I was extended. I
Yeah.
told you that. Okay.
All right,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Have a great day.
for your
Thank you.
time.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Now, we're gonna do a couple more things before we're gonna meet with the planning board in about 5 minutes. So, are we on A6?
Yes,
Everybody agrees with that? Okay. This is a letter from the library director, Lynn Blair. It's concerning approval to advertise both internally and externally position of children's librarian due to a resignation because of retirement.
Right.
Yeah, there's a retirement coming the end of the month.
Right. So we need a motion to approve.
motion opposed.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And
Cindy?
then Cindy, did she give chair mail today for also,
Yep. There's
For-
chair mail.
the assistant position? They also want to externally post that for both inside and outside candidates.
All right, so need a motion on that one.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're on to A7, and this is a request from the American Legion, and this is for a license for alcohol for the Rugged Maniac Race. Will this year be Saturday the 28th and Sunday the 29th. So they're looking for a one-day wine and malt beverage license.
Right.
And I believe everybody's reviewed it. Everything's gonna be the same as normal. The hours seem to be the same that we've always approved in the past.
What's the Sunday's hours? That's what you-
Sunday starts at 12,
Okay, so you're happy.
so
Okay, yeah.
we're happy, we've met our obligation, our agreement.
Yeah, they did what they said they were gonna do.
Okay, so, any discussion, or can we just vote on it?
I spent hours with Landis and the Legion over it. It's the same.
Lieutenant Landis.
I'm sorry. Lieutenant Landis.
Thank you.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, we gotta sign this. Cindy, where do you want us to sign it?
I
Right
heard
here.
Chief Bishop was doing the Rugged Maniac this year.
I don't know.
Every weekend, nothing with that.
here, and I didn't see you there.
One for both days?
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's just one. Sign for both days, on just the one, correct? Okay. All right, 8A is from the Department of Housing and Community Development. Mr. Steinhardt,
Mr. Chairman?
give us a short view on this one.
Well, obviously, you know, we're waiting to hear back on our community development block grant application that Jim Mazik and Erica Johnson worked on our behalf with Joe to file, that we had a hearing a number of months ago. And this just relates to a requirement by them for future applications under that program. We will need to update our ADA self-evaluation and transition plan for future eligibility on these grants. Almost how you're used to seeing the open space plan is needed for
Right.
other requirements.
Right.
So this is something that the board is going to have to possibly look at creating either a committee or using a vendor. And I was thinking maybe when Jim retires from the PVPC, he's done these before.
And reaching out to Jim?
Yes, well, I'd be willing to do that if you're interested, but we are gonna have to have this done over the next couple of years, so, and it may have to be also part of a budget document, resource allocation request.
Yeah.
So, along with that, this is where you have to acknowledge it, Mr. Chairman, by signing off at the bottom that you're aware that they've given us notice of this requirement for the upcoming future years.
All right, so I need a motion to authorize the chair to sign, that we're aware of this, and that we're gonna begin the process
Right.
of reaching out, and I think that's a good idea to reach out to Jim and see if he would entertain doing that for us.
Yeah, because once September, October comes, he's retired.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
It's unanimous. All right, we have the planning board. Come on up, Mike. Marcus. Do you expect any other members, Mike?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But this is fine.
Okay. All right. The only applicant is Jessica, who has spent the last year with you.
And she wants to come back.
And she actually wants to come
telling.
back.
Wow.
I'm a real glutton for punishment, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a joint appointment, so someone needs to make a motion.
I will make a motion to appoint Jessica Thornton as the associate member of the planning board.
Okay. Then we'll do a roll call vote.
I need a second.
Whoop,
We should go second.
second.
I'll second.
Okay. We need to do a roll call vote.
Doug Moglen, aye.
Russ Fox, aye.
Joe DDI.
Marcus Phelps, aye.
Michael Doherty, aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good
All
job.
right.
Congratulations.
Be
Thank
careful,
you.
though, that's a rough seat.
Not at all.
You've been in
Usually
it.
they keep me a lot
I've been
more
in that
than I'm up to
seat.
the
Doug has been in that seat.
Yeah?
Actually, I bypassed that seat, but I had the
did
same
you?
kind of
No.
meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Cool.
Thank you.
She's got to be sworn in again.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure she understands
Yeah,
that.
meeting next Thursday,
Okay.
so we'll have it
Dies
sworn
on
in
you,
before
that's why you
then.
see me
Okay.
on the road.
All right.
Okay.
We'll
Tell the police.
That's me.
All right. While we have you here, just for a quick second, anything new or exciting that you'd like to discuss about the planning board?
There's nothing new and nothing exciting.
Okay, very good.
No, I can't think of it. I mean, we got a couple developments coming up. There's
Yep.
that one on Hillside, it's gonna be a bit interesting. But, no, nothing real significant. So,
Okay.
The other two developments are going along just fine. Are they done with you guys? The golf course? One side?
They are, from a planning standpoint, they're done. They still have to run stuff by and,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah, the
legal
process
documents.
doesn't
It
go
still
away.
needs to be approved by us, but.
Right. Overall,
Is the
they're,
Mylar signed on the second one?
It will be. It will be.
This week.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
be in on Tuesday to sign.
So is that before, and then is the appeal period already done, or is that after the Mylar? So,
So,
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you for coming forward.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
good job.
have a good night, gentlemen.
All right. All right, we can do one or two quick things before we have to have a hearing. So, this is concerning 8A9 is a intermunicipal agreement with the city of Westfield.
Yep.
And this is something that Mr. Didi worked on with the CAO.
Right, there's actually, this is the first amendment relates to the extension of the agreement.
Right.
Okay.
And then there's going to be another amendment where the agreement then will also roll in sealer of weights and measures functions along with electrical inspection.
We're trying
And
to
that
actually,
is, that other thing is being worked on based upon a meeting we had last Friday with the mayor.
Okay.
with quite a few people actually, and the discussion was to maybe start packaging. They're gonna design it now where they don't have to really go in front of their city council all the time, because they feel that down the road, maybe we'll be doing
It's gonna be one MOA with a bunch of different services in it.
Okay.
to cover more things,
And the
easier, quicker,
services, right.
as needed on either part.
And this is an agreement for 2 years?
Yeah, this is just, this is
Electrical.
from the previous one.
Okay.
Right.
Because
we're
this was
upgrading the
before our
electrical.
meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
This is from the previous one, because that was only a one-year deal.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So this
Okay.
extends it for two.
2 more years.
So
Yep.
then we'll be back to you with the other agreement, which will then expand the one that had electrical services to include weights and measures, and then
Right.
later on.
Be a standard
the
product,
other
and then we'll have more
services
off of
we
it,
could
yeah.
add.
Okay. Okay. Again, working on that regional approach to save
Yep.
money for
They
both
were
the town of Southwick and the
very
city of
excited about
Westfield.
it.
Shared capacity.
Right, shared
They
capacity.
even had their union there to simplify and clean things up quicker.
It's a benefit to all the
Did a great
taxpayers.
job.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Need a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Thank you, Mr. D.
Oh, yeah, building inspector came, everybody. That was great. Except their mayor's leaving. Just when we got him figured out, he's leaving. Well, what are you gonna do?
Is there two of them, Russ?
2 of them. There's that. We'll give that to Mr. Deedy. All right, 6:25, the next thing I have is a hearing, Old Farm Golf Club LLC regarding change of manager. Perfect timing, come on up. They didn't sign on
Oh,
the...
there's 2 pages.
And could you pass me the folder on the hearing while they're doing that, please?
How are you? Good. Good to see you.
How's it going, Peter?
Sir?
And before I start reading it, how do you pronounce your name?
Bonnie Dalrymple.
What's the last name again?
Dalrymple? I know.
Dalrymple.
It's a lot. It's a lot
Okay.
of consonants.
All right.
You're gonna be asking who the person was before us, too.
I've been practicing.
Dino D.
All right, Town of Southwick, Board of Selectmen, Liquor Licensing Authority. Notice is hereby given under Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws that Bonnie
Dalrymple.
Dalrymple,
Yeah. Close enough.
Old Farm Golf Club, LLC, DBA, the Ranch Golf Club, has applied for a change of manager for the on-premise all-alcohol license located at 65 Sunnyside Road. The building consists of, location includes a golf course and 2 one-story wooden barn structures with 2 side entrances. The license will be used at 1 barn, which will include approximately 2,000 square feet restaurant/pub and approximately 1,000 square foot outside patio that will be enclosed and attached to the restaurant/pub. An additional area covers 7,200, I imagine, square feet again, including a fenced courtyard, the north barn pavilion area, and a fenced-in lawn area, totaling a net square footage of 10,200 square foot. In addition, this license also includes 320 acres of an 18-hole golf course exempting forested areas. Purpose of the hearing will accomplish the change of manager from Constantino Dino
Bravadas.
Gravanis to Bonnie Go ahead.
Dalrymple.
Thank you. Public hearing to be held Tuesday, August 6, 2019 at 6:25 PM. Select Board Conference Room, 454 College Highway, Southwick, Massachusetts. Select Board, Russell S. Fox, Chairman, Doug Moglen, Vice Chairman, Joseph J. Deedy, Clerk. A motion to open the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye, okay. We've opened the hearing, we've read the legal thing. The first thing I'm gonna do is give you an opportunity to tell us what you're doing.
So I'm Director of Food and Beverage at the ranch. It's just daily operation for events, clubs, tournaments, beverage cart, all of that. Kind of overseeing it all.
Okay.
I'm the managing partner, so
Yeah.
I'm there too.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay. Pure and simple, no changes.
No changes at all.
Right. Okay. So everything's gonna be the same. All right, I'm gonna open it up. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor or speak in opposition or make general comments? If so, I'd ask you to please state your name and address. Seeing none, I'm gonna ask the board. Any statements? Questions?
They do a great job.
Yeah. This is an asset to the town.
Okay. All right, then I need a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, they weren't complaining about the road, so we won't.
No, just,
All right.
why did you mention that? Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. All right, I need a motion to approve the change of managers.
Only if you say your last name.
Yeah, good luck.
Oh, gosh. It
So
took him
moved.
like 6 years.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
you.
set.
Nice.
Have a good night.
Come visit.
All right.
You get your ice cream.
I'll let you know when.
That's where you send that go.
I know they come.
I know.
Much quicker than last time.
Oh, my God,
Thank
don't
you.
go there. Take care.
All right, 6:30. Chief, are you going to help us organize this? At 6:30, we have, we're going to be interviewing for the position of sergeant for the Southwick Police Department. The first individual is going to be Officer Arta Weenie, and we need to pass out the questions.
Mr. we have a room for the other candidates to go into? I don't know if there are meetings that have been established or.
All right.
What about the office across the way there? Is that something you can?
Yep,
you guys-
absolutely. Is it open, Bob, or?
Cindy's got keys. We can-
No, she forgot her keys.
No, they're in my car.
Oh, I'll get my
Because I
keys
didn't
here.
get
I
that
know.
one.
Somebody has to
Okay.
have keys. Someone.
Not a
Keys,
problem.
Carl?
Thank you.
Huh? I'm all set.
Make sure you
Hold on a
stay
minute.
for doing the decision tonight.
Oh, is it?
All that, yeah.
Yeah,
Even better.
here, there's that.
So this is all the same question, all these? So do we just take one, or we taking two?
Three.
Look pretty thick.
Clerking down there.
I just, I don't want to screw it up for you guys later.
Well, if somebody had put a paper clip on it, we
We
wouldn't
wouldn't have
have
these
this.
issues.
How you doing, Roger?
Good.
Just give us a second to get set here.
How's it going?
Good.
All right. Need a water or anything?
No.
Okay. You've been through this before.
Yes, I have.
It's very relaxed, so be relaxed.
Oh, we are.
Yeah,
You're right.
not me. But
We're doing fine. There's a breeze too.
It's the same plan. We have a set of questions. We're gonna go through those questions.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna give you an opportunity to make any statement that you would like. We have not discussed whether or not we'll be making a decision tonight.
Okay.
It is under new business, so if we do discuss it, we can make a decision.
Okay.
But, so, again, very relaxed. I'm gonna start off with the first question. Roger, why should we select you instead of any of the other applicants for this position of sergeant?
Well, I do have the most
time on is on the department. I've been on since 1999, so I've been on 20 years. I've been on over 15 full-time years. I finally did finish my bachelor's degree, so I do have the education now. And I do also live in town, and I think living in town makes a difference as far as being connected to the community.
Good. Mr. Mogul? We'll go
Yeah,
that
I'm
way.
not reading that question. Jesus.
Yeah, you're.
Oh, it's you.
I know.
He would not ask that question.
He would
so-
not ask it.
Right, so you get to ask it.
So besides Mr. Didi,
Right,
whom
exactly.
do you
That's
most
what I'm saying. You
admire?
put the guy in a spot.
I have to pick one person for this?
No pandering.
Yeah,
Whom do you
okay.
most admire?
I would say my father, because he started out as a police officer, and he was able to, he sacrificed a lot, but he was able to work his way up the ranks and eventually become the lieutenant colonel of the environmental police. And I think it was a lot of hard work for him, and it was, he had to move away for a little while, live at the Cape, but he did make sacrifices. And he was able to get promoted all the way up to lieutenant colonel.
Okay. Do you think it's positive or negative to live in the same community that you work in? And please explain.
I mean, I do think it's a positive thing. I've lived in this town my whole life. And I grew up with a lot of the people that, I deal with on a regular basis. Even when I'm not working, I run into these same people. And I think that, even last week we dealt with somebody that I grew up with, and he can be a violent person. And, when I go to these calls, I think I can talk to the people before we have any other issues with them and talk them down so there's no violence. I think I'm pretty good at, dealing with a lot of the people from town. And I would also say that, on the community policing standard, like I have people that actually, they come to my house, and ask me questions. I'm not working, and they do come to my house and ask me stuff. And even when I go to the stores or something like that, people are always coming up to me and asking me advice. And, that's just part of being part of this community. It's like that's one of the sacrifices you take from working and living in this town.
Thank you. We get told a lot of things at certain community events. We don't
I
ask us
don't
many questions.
remember anybody asking me
They don't
anything.
ask me anything, but
Telling me a
they
few
tell me
things.
the way to go and stuff. Yeah.
Right, a few
But-
names, but that was about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Roger, why have you chosen to make your career in Southwick?
I would say on the same, that's almost the same question because I like this community. I grew up here. I've always lived here. I just like this town, and I have pride in working and living in the same town. I think it makes a difference.
As a sergeant, you are also a role model for the officers under your control. Please explain your style of leadership so that these officers will think of you as a positive role model.
In a leadership position, I'm not afraid to ask other people questions. There are people that have more experience in certain areas that I have, and I'm not going to be one of these guys that say, no, it's my way or that's it. I'm going to ask the other officers, their opinion, but I'm going to be the one that makes the final decision. I think I'm good at teaching some of the younger guys on how to do certain things, and I think I have respect from the younger officers on how to do these certain things.
Okay, since you have been in the position of shift commander for the Southwick Police Department, what one thing would you recommend changing to the command staff for consideration? Say that again. So you're,
Yeah,
you're shift
yeah,
commander.
yes.
You've been shift commander all
Yes,
these years, on
yes.
and off, right?
Yeah.
So, is there any one thing you would recommend changing to your, to the, I guess, the chief or the lieutenant?
I think maybe like the chain of command and how it's utilized in our department. I think the smaller issues should be dealt with by the sergeant. And then if the sergeant does have an issue with it, he can go up to the chain of command to the lieutenant or
Right.
up to the chief to deal with those kind of issues. I think it should be, if you have an issue with somebody, deal with it. The sergeant should be dealing with it first, or the shift commander should be dealing with it first, and then go up the chain of command.
More responsibility for the
Yes.
shift commander.
Yes.
Thank you.
Follow up, is it not like that now?
It is, but there are certain circumstances where people, you do go right up to the lieutenant and the chief, where I think some of that stuff could be dealt with on the level of the sergeant right now.
Thank you.
Hence me speeding through town and they say, should we pull?
Well,
over
that should
guy?"
go to the chief.
Yeah.
As-
It usually
yeah,
does.
that should,
Yeah.
I think it's my turn.
It is.
It is, thank you. What do you believe is one of the most important responsibilities of a police officer in the sergeant's position?
I mean, I think the most important responsibility is making sure the officers you're working on are safe and they go home at the end of the shift. I mean, that, to me, that's the most important thing about being a police officer anywhere.
Mr. Mogul?
Roger, what is the best advice you have received concerning your career in law enforcement?
The best advice that I received is to have common sense. And that's something that's very important because you can use it to your advantage as far as in discretion and how you deal with people. It's very important to have common sense in this job. You don't always have to be black and white with everything that you do.
Okay. That ends our questions. Do you have anything you'd like to
I do
say?
have a
or-
short letter.
Okay.
It's not like a book or anything, so.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say
You
it.
actually answered every question when it was asked, so.
Yeah, okay.
So I didn't think it would be a book in the end.
First, I want to thank the Select Board for providing me the opportunity to interview for this position. As a town resident my entire life and an officer in this department for nearly 20 years, I would consider it an honor to serve as a sergeant here. My family has a long history of service to this community, including my mother, who was a teacher in Southwick schools her entire career, and my father, who served as a reserve officer, and he also served as the Lieutenant Colonel of the Environmental Police. I am proud to continue the service to this town and community. As you know, this is not my first application for a promotion here, but in the last year I've added not only the expertise of a new role in the department, but also completion of my bachelor's degree in criminal justice, learning 3 roles: the records keeper, property, and evidence, and the court officer, shows my desire, willingness, and capacity to grow professionally. I cleared over 100 pages of property and evidence in the last year, and it is now easy for members of the police department to efficiently locate and identify property and evidence. I also helped to return thousands of dollars into the town budget by implementing a buyback program for firearms, with the potential of even more returns from a car that I recovered after decades in storage. My roots in Southwick mean that I perform community policing on a near daily basis. I've lost count of how many times I've provided information and assistance to neighbors, friends of friends, and others. This is true community policing to me because I'm always there to provide assistance to our citizens, even when I'm not technically on duty. I am there to help my neighbor when he finds a dead fish in his mailbox, when my parents' neighbor has a property line dispute, and when a friend's family member wants to know options for a domestic dispute. These happen in my driveway, these happen at Big Y, in a booth at Roma's, through phone calls to my house and elsewhere. My goal is to become a sergeant and lead by example. I know how to de-escalate a situation by being calm and fair. I have and will continue to help the younger officers as they learn policies, procedures, and how to use their discretion to serve the public. I hope that you give me this opportunity. Thanks.
Very good, Ron. Again, we thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Sir?
Thanks.
The next applicant is going to be Officer Taggart. How you doing, Mike?
How's everybody today?
Good.
Good news.
You've been through this so many times.
Multiple times.
And so hasn't everybody that's coming in.
Sir?
So you know that we're very casual. We want you relaxed. You brought water, so I'm not going to offer you water.
I appreciate that.
So we have the set of questions that we're going to ask. And then at the completion of that, we're going to ask you if you have any statements or questions that you'd like to make. We do not know whether or not we're going to be making a decision tonight, but it is listed under new business in case we do that. So I'm going to begin, Mike, with the first question. Why should we select you instead of the other applicants?
That's an excellent question, a fair question. I believe with the skill set that I possess, the extra duties that I've put into the South Police Department day in and day out, between being a firearms instructor, defensive tactics instructor, school resource officer, I think that everything that I've done has been geared towards becoming a sergeant and working up to that because of my ability to work without supervision or very little supervision up at the school. I believe that I've proven that I can get a lot done without having someone's thumb on me. In that case, I've worked multiple shifts as a shift commander throughout the summers at this point since Sergeant Sanders has been on light duty. Every shift that I'm scheduled for, I am listed as a shift commander, unless an overtime position comes in where someone else fills it. I've also gone to the officer in charge class. I was actually the first person who requested that class, which is geared specifically towards becoming a sergeant, and that really helped out with that. My role with defensive tactics has geared me towards what is good use of force and what officers should use and shouldn't do with that. I'm very versed with the department policy, procedures, and criminal law due to being an FTO, field training officer, where I have to go over these procedures, department procedures, and laws with new reserves and full-time officers, and I think that's been a great asset to me as well, which is one of the things I believe is for the sergeant is to be able to teach officers, especially when they come down with new policy procedures and laws and such, and be able to relay that to them.
Just a quick follow-up. What is your shift when you're not working at the school?
I go on the regular day shift at this point, but the first year I worked 4 to 12 on my summer.
Yeah.
Wherever I'm needed, I'll go.
Okay. Does?
Whom do you most admire?
At this point, I would have to say my father. He was in Vietnam. He lost my sister at a young age. And anybody that can come through those two things and still be as a soft and compassionate person, I believe is someone that I would admire the most.
Okay. Do you think it's positive or negative to live in the same community that you work in? Please explain.
I think there's positive and negative to both. I think being in the community that you work in, you get to know a lot of the people a little bit more. You've grown up with a lot of those people. That was one of the things that was a little bit different for me when I came out and I was looking for a job out here. Southwick was a place I wanted to work, and that's where I applied. So every day I strive to get to know everybody. I know hundreds more people in Southwick than I do in the community I live in. That's why I want to go through the schools and get to know everybody and go out in partnership with all the Citizens Police Academy things. I teach all those. I've gone through the car seats installs to get to know people that are having children and things like that. Elder affairs I'm good at, so I'll stop by and see people at the senior center. Helped bring in some bread and stuff the other day because they had a carload. So obviously, it's nice to be able to live in town. Sometimes when you have to enforce a law, it can be a negative because you have a lot of personal interest in some people and you know a lot of people, and sometimes that can be a negative. Where I know that when I was working day shift, we had to make an arrest of someone that was known to Sergeant Miles, and he requested I take the arrest because he was closely involved with that person. So that's why I had to take over. So I mean, but that can't happen. That can happen to me too, because I know so many people now being here for 12 plus years that I can come across somebody that I have a relationship with.
Okay.
Good. Mike, why have you chosen to make your career in Southwick?
The reason, well, number one, I was married and my wife lives out in Western Mass. So I came and I looked at different areas around Southwick, and Southwick was a place that really touched my heart. It's almost identical to the town that I grew up in, which is Medfield, Massachusetts. It's size-wise, structure-wise, feeling-wise, it's a nice community. We are geared towards more of a community policing now more than ever with Chief Bishop and Lieutenant Landis. And that's the type of police officer I want to be. Obviously, we have to enforce laws, but that's part of our job. It's not the only part of our job.
Good.
As a sergeant, you are also a role model for officers under your control. Please explain your style of leadership so these officers will think of you as a positive role model.
I would say leader. I think that a lot of people are impressed by people who go in and do the job that they expect you to do. No one likes someone to go and tell them, you do this, you do that. They see their leader sitting there. So I think mine is of, I'll show you that I will do the job as well. I'll show that I'm competent at doing the job, and I would expect them to be as competent. If not, it would be my job to get them to that standard. And fortunately for us, our police department, it's not difficult to get people to those standards.
Since you have been in the position of shift commander for the Southwick Police Department, what one thing would you recommend changing to the command staff for consideration?
I would say at this point, we're as close as possible, but maybe another shift sergeant for a 2-day day shift and one specifically for training. So they would have 2 days on patrol and 2 days to be the training sergeant, which would be in charge of making sure everybody's up on their certificates, scheduling people, all that type of stuff that takes a lot of time from the lieutenant and the chief. It spends a tremendous amount of time, correct, on trying to make sure everybody's qualified, certified, everything else. So if you have a person that can fill those 2 days that we don't have now as a sergeant, you would have those 2 days filled, and then there would be 2 days out of the rotation specifically for all those different things to be able to make sure that we are where we need to be.
What do you believe is one of the most important responsibilities of a police officer in the sergeant's position?
I would say interpersonal skills, community relations, because without our community behind us, it makes our jobs very difficult. So it's showing that the officers under your command how to engage with people, treat them with respect, and you will get respect in return.
Mike, what's the best advice you've received concerning your career in law enforcement?
Don't give up. No matter what you do, continue to do your best. Just don't give up.
That completes the questions. Now you have an opportunity to ask us questions or make a
I
statement.
just have a small thing to read.
Would you consult with Brett?
Joking.
He's on vacation, so he'll hear
Yeah,
this.
he's on vac, yeah.
But he's gonna
that's-
listen
he'll
to that.
listen
We
to
gotta
it.
get
So you
that.
basically cleaned up his thing, redid it for him, and then they're gonna do it the right way.
Well, that's why he got it the first time.
Yeah, oh, you did that on purpose, to railroad his career. Good job. Good job. That's right, you're friends, I forgot. Hey,
Don't throw shade.
no, I got it. It's all right.
Throughout my 15-plus years of service in law enforcement, I've volunteered for a variety of additional roles and responsibilities, ranging from firearms instructor to defensive tactics and school resource officer. I take on additional responsibilities to display my commitment to the Southwick Police Department and the community of Southwick. I have continued to expand and improve my skills as a leader through various types of trainings and preferred practices. I have coordinated trainings with various state agencies and local fire and police departments. I believe that the best teacher is experience, and I've been afforded frequent opportunities to act in the capacity of a sergeant as a shift commander. I have attended training specifically geared toward this role. Through my job performance and application packet, I feel that I have met and exceeded the expectations of a sergeant by requiring little supervision, being self-motivated, proficient in department procedures and laws, receiving and relaying orders, strong interpersonal and customer service skills, strong record keeping, writing, and organization skills. I am committed to my law enforcement role in networking with other agencies. I am accountable for my actions and take responsibility for others when I'm acting in a supervisory role. Every day, I strive to meet the Southwick Police Department's mission statement: to partner with the community, provide prompt and courteous service, ensure the lives and safety of all of our citizens, and to protect property. I understand that one can never obtain perfection. However, if we strive for perfection, we can achieve excellence. I demand excellence of myself and of my fellow officers. The town of Southwick and its citizens deserve no less. Thank you.
All right, Mike, we thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
The next applicant is going to be Officer Westcott.
You think you brought the dog for you? Just one.
Someone else bring the suit of honor?
Well, it's, it'd be perfect,
That would be bad form.
Well, that's what I was getting at, yeah. Happens under the desk, stays under the desk,
How you doing, Mike? Have a seat. And you know you've been through this. All the applicants have been through this. You know we're very casual.
Sir.
So we want you relaxed. Do you need a water or anything like that before we begin?
I'm all set, I think.
Okay. We're going to ask you a set of questions. Same questions we've asked everybody else. At the completion of that, we're going to give you an opportunity to ask us questions or make a statement. We haven't decided whether or not we're going to make a decision tonight. It is listed under new business, so if we do decide to do that, we can do it. All right, so I'm going to begin with the first question. Mike, why should we select you instead of the other applicants?
I think I'm the best fit and in the best position, family life, to move into this position. My kids are older. I have a great support network between my wife, her parents, my parents. They're all there to pitch in. This shift isn't an easy shift, and with their help, it's going to make it an easy shift for me. And just the amount of time I put into the department. My phone's on 24/7. Anything that they need, they can call anytime, and I'm there to answer, do whatever the department needs.
Good.
Mike, whom do you most admire?
That's a curveball. Do you mean like work-wise or just in
It's all
general?
about you.
Whom do you most admire?
Our select board? No, I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute. Finally a good answer. Finally a good answer. All right.
You have people in the audience too, just to remind you, so just be careful how you answer.
Oh,
this
wait,
question.
Chief's here.
Someone higher than
I don't think he meant the chief, Mike.
For his job.
Yeah.
This
So
isn't
who
the
do I
chief's
most
position?
admire?
Oh, wait a minute.
No, it's a couple years.
All right.
God, it's hard to really focus on one person.
You can go up to 2.
Up to 2.
Yeah.
There's a lot more than 2. I mean, I most admire the people that put in the grind every day. The guys, our servicemen, our military, law enforcement, the guys that through the hard times just keep going. I can't really narrow it down to one.
That's a good answer.
Specific.
That's a good answer.
But you didn't say Russ Fox. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, well, that would have been a better answer.
I know. Yeah, survey says. All right. Do you think it's positive or negative to live in the same community that you work in? And please explain.
I think it's both. I have a cruiser in my driveway, and you would be amazed at the people that show up at my door. So in that point, I've even taught the kids, hey, if you don't know the person, don't go to the door, get me. Because it's just people that I deal with every day show up, and I could arrest them one day, and they're at my door the next day. Every time it's been a positive experience, but I would say that's the negative, is the people just randomly coming over.
Or have a garage for your car.
I was just thinking, you need a garage, buddy.
Or at least could you turn it around and park it like you're doing radar to slow down that
Yeah,
street?
right.
You're gonna,
Or they'll wipe out the windows if I leave it too close to the road. But the positive is you get to work and help the people that you're in town with. I mean, some of my best work is after hours, meeting with people, talking with them, making connections, going to the park and hanging out with the people, coaching kids on the softball teams or stuff like that. Just being able to interact all the time, I think, is the best thing about it. It's not, I don't hang up my badge and gun at the end of the day and wash my hands of it. It's 24/7.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, why have you chosen to make your career in Southwick?
It's my town. I live here. I grew up here. My dad was on the fire department forever. It's just, this is where my family's from, and this is the town that I love. I've traveled all over, going to the Caribbean, going all over the States. It's always nice to come back home. We just went on a trip. We just went camping for a week. It was supposed to be 9 days, 8 days. We came home a day early and we're like, it's just good to be back in town. It's just comfort level, just being comfortable here and liking the people here in the community.
Good.
It's mine.
Yep.
As a sergeant, you are also a role model for officers under your control. Please explain your style of leadership so that these officers will think of you as a positive role model.
So, I'm very laid back. Even when I'm acting as shift commander, if I show up second to a call or whatever, they handle it. They do the work. And then if I need to, I'll step in now as a shift commander, or if I see things escalating. Somebody's ready to fight, I'll walk up and shake their hand. I'll walk in, and you just lead by example. I mean, it's the calls that I've been on, I think I've shown that I can keep my cool and go into a stressful situation. And you got to lead from the front, but also be able to step back and watch your other guys take control and let them do their job. But be ready to step in when needed.
It's funny, you're young on the force, but all of a sudden you're not the youngest guy on the force, are you?
No, I'm not.
So when you said that was, you show up, you're the older guy now.
Yeah.
A lot of our guys are young,
Yeah.
Yep. That's amazing how that happened.
Yeah.
All right, since you have been in the position of shift commander for the Southwick Police Department, what one thing would you recommend changing to the command staff for consideration?
Well, one thing is shift commander. I think we could do a lot more with public relations and using our Facebook page and stuff. Right now, one guy kind of sets the tone for it and puts out the stuff. But as shift commander, it'd be great to be able to jump right on it and say, hey, missing child, or lock your doors, we've had break-ins, or, you know, be able to post stuff and do more community relations stuff and work on it just as a regular shift. Hey, instead of making a special event, let's stop by the park one night. Let's, as a group, go over to the park, hang out, you know, go to the local businesses, hang out with the kids, summer house, do different things for them.
You meant malicious, right? You didn't mean summer house.
Summer house, that's fine.
Couldn't play favorites.
Oh,
No,
okay.
he's here 4 times a week now, okay, so stop. Or his wife is, but anyways. The kids.
All right. Mike, what do you believe is one of the most important responsibilities of a police officer in the sergeant's position?
Set a good example. Lead with a cool, calm attitude, and just be there for the guys. It's not just about the hot call and going to it. It's being there for them afterwards. You know, we see some bad scenes, and we got to get back into. The fire department does it very well, where after a major incident, they'll call everybody in and debrief. I think we need to start stepping up in that aspect and be there for the guys after the major incidents.
I'll follow up real quick. Has there been any times where we've done that, or?
Yeah, we've started really working into it. Now we're doing more, sending the guys over to the fire department when they're doing it, and we started bringing in critical incident stress debriefing teams, and they're on speed dial now. So if we have an incident, they can reach out, we can make calls and get people in there. And we've done it before, where walked into the chief's office, hey, this is what this guy's going through, what do you think? And we were able to get them, try to stem it before anything goes too far.
Okay.
Give them somebody to talk to.
Thank you. Doug?
What's the best advice you have received concerning your career in law enforcement?
Keep learning. Never stop learning. Always keep training. There's a new scam. There's a new way to deal with people. It's a continual flow of evolution, whether it's citizens, community policing, or how you're going to approach a car stop. If you don't keep learning, you're going to be so far behind you won't be able to catch up.
Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
Because I think this applicant has a unique piece of his job that the others do not. And I'm curious how that plays out in a sergeant role. So as the K-9 officer, that has additional roles and responsibilities in and out of town.
Yes.
So how do you feel that will help or hurt in a sergeant's role?
I think the sergeant role is going to help it. It's going to give me more training. I don't think it's going to take away from the dog at all. I think the shift is great for him. He's going to be there to clear out the bars at least 2 nights a week if we need it. He's there as a deterrent. It's not to let the dog out. It's just his presence is a deterrent. Whether it's people breaking into cars, whether it's now that if they know he's on shift, you never know when he's going to be out. It's a major deterrent to crime. I don't think this is going to hurt the dog at all. It's only going to benefit the program.
All right, Mike, that completes our questions. Do you have any questions or any statement you'd like to make?
Just to kind of recap, since our last time we were here for the last sergeant's position, since January, I looked back, I was trying to reflect on what I have done to progress to become a sergeant. The chief and lieutenant have selected me and sent me to some great training. Since then, I've become a certified FTO, which is very heavy on department liability and being a pseudo supervisor to the new staff coming on. They sent me to be the backup SRO officer. That was also a lot of liability training and dealing with the youth and talking with different people. I look back at the hours since January till now. I've put in almost a little over 200 hours as shift commander. just since January. I didn't go all the way back to the last portion, but it's just been a steady progression of building knowledge and working my way up to this position. And I hope you guys would consider me.
And how long before you feel we'll be in here again? Have you figured out when the chief's leaving and the lieutenant, because that'll start the conga line again?
Well, see,
Do you want any recommendations that, that we need to know of that?
No,
I wasn't gonna bring that up this
Oh,
time.
I have to
You
with
beat
him,
the
of all
snot out of it
people.
last
With him,
time.
you have to.
Eventually I want his job, but I'm hoping it's many years so that I can get in under his teachings and the lieutenant's teachings and
Right.
get in now and start getting, getting
Feel
that knowledge
has
from
opened
them.
up a lot more lately. You seem
Oh,
to
yeah.
be more.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I can learn a lot from these guys, and being part of their command staff will do nothing but help that.
So you seen a change in the last year?
Oh, yeah.
In the way that's
Yeah.
going on?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Good.
All right, Mike, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mike. Good job.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Leave my socks alone.
Chief Bishop, while you're still here, could you give us an update on Congamon Road?
Yeah, it's, connects to College Highway. I'm sorry.
Thank you, thank
I
you.
did go back.
That Congamon Road, yeah.
That's as far as we can go.
Yeah.
We didn't extend it. You contacted me on August 1st, and I went back and checked some emails, and on the 29th, we'd actually put an email out, because we'd already received complaints about speeders down there on the road. So without going into details, you don't know the complaints about speeders down there at that location, and the chairman had also received a complaint from citizens about it too. So even prior to you reaching out to me, we'd already started a program without listing the hours we're down there right now. We are hitting it heavy with enforcement right now. If the press is here, we'd like to push that it is still a construction zone out there. So if anybody is stopped in that construction zone, the fines will be doubled. We started off again this time, just the first couple of days was a written warning, now it's being pushed up into the citation part.
Write 'em up.
So enough is enough, the construction zone, we know it's paved all the way now, so now it's become, a racetrack out there. So
We knew it was
respond to
gonna.
Citizens and your concern there also, and hopefully we can make a change down there.
I heard there was a vandalized sign down there already, on the speed limit sign.
Something I'm not
I think it
aware
was
of.
an angry resident that done it.
Really? They're blinking in their light, in their house?
No,
or-
I think they slow down expletive below the speed limit.
That's
Yeah.
right out the roadway.
Oh, it's on the road itself.
Covers the entire road.
Oh, even better. I had a couple of calls on it this morning.
Yeah.
Halloween's around the
We're
corner.
a fan of there, yeah.
That wasn't there yesterday.
No, it was there this morning.
It was 2 days ago, yeah.
Great.
All right, well, thank you, Chief Bishop, for following up on that, or you were already working on it anyways, but. All right, so we're back on the action folder, A10. Okay, this is again from Randy Brown, DPW Director, regarding the culvert Fred Jackson Road, replacement engineering services.
Right, Mr. Chairman, this is consistent with your work session on June 11th, where you had put that in as a listed project, that replacement. So this is the first step to do the design and permitting and construction phases.
And that'd be $48,300.
Right, and that's, you're working off that 2 million bond cap.
Right. All right, so need a motion to approve this for tie and bond to start the development.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we need to sign it. Okay, next A11 is we're looking for approval from the board for the chairman and the CAO to hire a plumbing inspector.
Right, he's got it narrowed it down to 2 people, because we've been using Westfields for 12 to 14 weeks.
Yep.
So he was talking to us the other day, and he's got 2 people that he's interviewing and finishing. review. So he wants to get somebody on board fairly soon.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the next thing here, it's not, well, I guess it is here. I guess this,
Did that one.
we did that one, that was that other request, okay. Okay, we're looking for a transfer, and this is from the police department.
Already? Yeah, we just started it?
No, that was an issue.
We
where
got
the
1
town
month in.
accountant said,
1 month in and we need money?
when we went through the budget reconciliation process, that line item was left off of the newer budget, but it's a recurring.
But that was a test. We wanted to see if the chief was reading the whole budget. And apparently,
It was on my request form.
So the FinCom signed off on it last.
oh, of course.
Okay, it's for $1,500 for the dive and rescue equipment. I need a motion,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
I guess 2 signatures are good because he abruptly walked out of the meeting.
Okay, I guess that's all that's listed
He
here.
must have known that. Drop mic.
So we can go to old business. So we'll wait until Mr. Moglen gets back, but update on the meeting regarding the charging stations
That is in process.
in
Yes.
process.
Yeah.
Sandra's taking that last request from your meeting to set that up.
Okay, and you understood that was you and,
Yeah, us to be there, me and you
well,
and planner.
no, we were actually gonna just push it on to the staff here during the day.
Oh, I didn't, she didn't.
I thought Doug
inform me.
Moglen was going to handle that.
Well, if he doesn't get back in this room, he's gonna be on that committee. But,
Yeah, I know, you wanted to look at other locations.
yeah, well,
They originally sent it to us for this location.
Right,
but you wanted-
right, but I figured what we thought is you, town planner,
Yeah.
building
Well, now I
inspector,
know that.
get together,
Everybody but Russ.
discuss it and meet with Eversource. And because
The gentleman's actually sending me.
the board felt that we probably don't have any public location
Yeah.
that would work. So most likely, we would be recommending a private location or locations.
Flower shop could have a charging station.
I saw,
The one in Hadley is Tesla, though. I'm up there every week, and it is, so Tesla did the whole deal at the Pride Station.
at the end of the day, Carl, I saw that the guy had
Okay.
answered me with more information. so-
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got Mr. Moglen's name on that committee, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yep,
all right.
That's for 3 years.
yep, got that.
Dude, there's 1 year left in this term.
Okay.
Hey.
The next thing, update on the MS4 stormwater meeting with EPA and DEP. And Mr. Steinhardt can join in, but I think we had a very productive meeting. We had the feds there, we had the state there, we had.
Was Richie O'Neill there?
We had.
Richie O'Neill?
We had representatives from,
Congressman Neal's
Neal's
office.
Wow.
Senator Warren's office, Senator Markey's office, Senator
Must be
Hummerson's
an election
office.
year. Nothing's
So-
going on.
So,
we had the representatives from DEP and EPA.
Get a
And we
selfie
went through
with
a
them?
whole process about how it came about, how the permits have,
Yeah.
taken place, what was done during each permit, and then what's being done under the most current one. And then Mr. Fox outlined all the efforts that the town has undertaken over the last several years in terms of its investment in making sure that our staff are trained and that we're also bringing on a stormwater coordinator, which we just took care of this evening.
Yeah.
So that's gonna all go toward the important issues, toward outfall data.
right. Pioneer Valley Planning was also at the meeting. Mr. Steinhardt and I both emphasized the need for a regional approach for
Right.
small towns. And there seemed to be some agreement from the state and the feds.
There
on
was,
that.
they were gonna talk to them about a grant for the RPA to possibly provide regional services for the higher level tests, the tests that have to be done on the water discharges that would leave town, not the test kits where the person, the coordinator, can do the testing right on site. But if there's anything that's tripped, then there would be some sort of access to a lab that could be procured through a regional bid and things of that. So they're looking about, what needs to be done at what step and by who. So this initiative you took tonight in retaining Mr. Goddard, who's very skilled in these issues,
Yeah, still
will
surprised.
bring us, it's gonna fast forward us into a good position.
And we also, the gentleman from the state, I forget Fred's last name,
Scythian.
Sydney, has agreed that he has no problem with coming out and meeting with the board and finance committee to go over everything, to explain the process and different ways that they can help. And they're working on establishing, like Carl said, different grant mechanisms.
He's even offered to come to a town meeting. if
Right.
need be.
To,
He's done that
if necessary, to explain where we know that it's a financial, unfunded mandate, and a financial concern of the town. But I guess the bottom line is, I asked, I think the final question of the EPA, I said, if we are trying to work in the right direction, are you gonna work with us? And the answer was yes.
Oh, yeah.
How
So,
long before he retires?
he's young,
Oh, good.
he's
good.
young,
Yeah.
he's young.
That's good to hear, because last time the guy you talked to retired on you. So it's
No, he
he showed up
happened
to
to
the
be
meeting.
there.
Oh, he didn't
But
retire.
we
He
did
just stopped
no,
answering the phone
No,
when you
no,
called. Oh.
we didn't mention.
That's the street sweeper guy?
The street
We,
sweeper guy.
no. We didn't mention that at all. We didn't mention it at all. We had
Oh,
a
what a
very
hustle.
nice relationship, productive meeting. So,
That's why you were there.
I'm glad I didn't go then.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm glad I didn't go.
but
No.
so I think it was
Well, there
positive.
was more,
Thank you for doing
more
it.
follow-up context
Yeah.
that he gave to the process.
Correct.
And he was very knowledgeable, and he differentiated different issues.
Correct.
That, and Russ had talked to him about the seminars that we go to each year, and he did say that he would be talking to the MMA about another seminar.
Right, especially geared towards maybe
Our commu-
smaller
Because,
communities.
our size communities,
Well,
we're in
we're
a
probably right
different
on the verge of
situation.
not having to do it, but yet we just triggered that threshold where we have to do it.
because of urban collectors, which is really our downtown in the northwest quadrant of town. believe it or
Right.
not.
But also, what was very interesting is we talked about College Highway in the state. The state
Well,
is
they're
going
doing
to
a great job.
The state is going to have a different permit.
Oh, different permit?
And then we found out that Springfield has a different permit. Holyoke has a different permit.
They're large enough.
Right.
But the ones with the mixed flows have a different permit.
Yeah, because they have, CSOs.
Right.
Which we don't. And they looked at us and said, you're fortunate not to have any of that, because that's gonna be more expensive in the end.
But I did.
Even with federal
I
purchase.
did point out that College Highway. I said, wait a minute. The state's not sweeping. State not cleaning out their
Right.
their
Outfalls, they're not doing
outfall.
anything with outfalls.
And they're not doing any testing. I mean, what are they going to do?
But they're working on a permit.
But they're working on a permit for it.
Yeah.
But it will be a blanket permit for the DOT.
Okay.
Of course.
Right. So, but anyways, I just want to emphasize it was very
Thanks for the
positive.
update.
Very positive. All right, FY20 appointments. Do we want to try to tackle any more tonight?
You, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Cindy has given us some of the lists. I'm going to make a little suggestion, and the committee can say yea or nay.
Nay. I'm sorry.
We had asked people to respond
Oh, yeah.
whether or not they wanted to be reappointed and to kind of give us a reason why. And one of the reasons for that is that there was some talk at town meeting and special town meetings about how we do our appointments, and some people are just continuously reappointed and new people can't get on, et cetera, like that.
Yeah.
And then we saw that a lot of the committees just had their secretary or someone just submit their names and no other verbiage. So would the board consider to finish up the appointments by making all the appointments a one-year appointment and giving those boards members a year to submit something. We'll have the new software on board for next year, and this would give us an opportunity to clean up any mistakes where people aren't sure of the year of appointment or reappointments, things like that. So, throwing it out there as a suggestion.
Well, there's the issue on the Board of Appeals, which can only have 5, 3, and 2.
Well, that,
You
well,
have to correct that.
right, we have to correct that. But I'm talking about in general,
Right.
some of the others.
I believe, just my opinion, that these reappointment slips were just sent out. I don't think there was really any direction, like, I look at it like, if I had got one, I would just fill it out, or, you know,
That's what I think we were
Maybe
hoping
should-
for.
yeah.
For when you got 6 back with the same penmanship and the other
Well,
12
that's what I'm
back with the
saying.
same
Well,
typewriter.
if you had
That
maybe
was
put
like
like a
this to
little
us.
letter on
Hey.
it that said, you know, we're interested in knowing.
Yeah, I guess we could have explained a little better
Yeah,
that
because I
you're
don't
on a
think they're
board or
taking
commission and,
I don't think they're taking it that way. I
no,
think
they're not.
just-
They're taking
yeah.
it like those
Fill it out.
goofball selectmen.
Yeah.
Now look what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think maybe if there
As
was a
they all
cover letter.
raised their
that was
hand
on
at
it or
town
something,
meeting and
explaining why.
and got what they're.
Well, you know, the moderator does a pretty good job. He has
Does a great job.
everybody to review annually, and makes them supply something in writing to them. And you know, we've seen other communities that have started doing this.
Yep.
You know, so I think
I don't think it's a bad idea. I just
Mr. Chairman, I
think it
also
should have
thought,
been explained
I'm looking
further.
at this current list here, and I believe you were going to leave, that her pace would be the final fence viewer, and that you weren't gonna ever fill that again?
correct, because there's
So
no
you could
legal
eliminate it.
standing.
Okay.
We
You
could
have a
eliminate.
motion to get rid of it or anything for,
Yeah, it doesn't need to be on the list anymore.
you can just
Okay.
take it off.
Yeah, we just won't reappoint anyone and just take it off the list.
Okay.
Took care of the planning board associate tonight,
Right.
Correct?
Okay.
and then the health inspector, that's appointed by the Board
Planning
of
board.
Health, so we don't deal with that.
Russ, I'll follow along with what you're
I know
doing.
that
I mean,
most of
I
these
thought we
sailor
had
rates and measures
communicated
and
that, and
everything
that was
else were-
supposed to be
were
communicated with the
taken care
rest
of
of the
with the
stuff.
paperwork tonight.
Obviously, it wasn't done completely.
Yep.
So, and we do have to get these appointments done, though, so by all means, and we should communicate with these appointments, we'll draft a letter, and I'll gladly do it, to be sent out when these people are sworn in, and maybe given to them, saying, look, this is a one-year appointment because, and what we're doing here.
Okay. Joe?
I don't think anybody gets reappointed, but that's my opinion.
All right, Board of Appeals, let's tackle that one first.
So, Carl, if I may, Carl, what's the composition of the Board of Appeals supposed to be? Because
I
it says
gave
not
you
less than.
There's a packet.
He has it right in front of him.
I have that.
Okay.
It's supposed to be
No, the
3 regular
explanation.
members and 2, the zoning bylaws
I gave you
call for
this.
2 all associates, and you've got 3. So that is something that when the town attorney was reviewing some of the issues that they were involved in, said that you were
Done.
going to need to correct.
Yeah, someone had sent a copy of the bylaw, correct?
I did.
There somewhere? Ah, here it is. Sorry.
Well, if it is, it was at your last meeting.
I gave it to him again.
So who are the 3 current members, you know, because is it Mr. Gregoire, Mr. Metheny, and Mr. Stapleton are the full members? And Mr. Parent, Liss, and Massaroni are the associates?
It's listed right on the front
But
sheet.
that's not how it's being presented in their requests for, so, bear with me one
I
second.
think Cindy worked with the town clerk's office.
I go
And
by
this
what,
is and obviously, they had to double check it when Mark Begley was doing the research on applications that were being filed before that board. So, I think other people thought it was a certain way, but the clerk's office gave Cindy the information how they have it tracked, and you have to make adjustments within those 6 people of how you're gonna allocate who to what role.
Do we allocate the role though?
we're
Yeah,
gonna,
not within the board. Once a
Okay,
board,
yeah, yeah,
once a
fine,
board
fine. Yes.
is
Then they
appointed,
organize.
then they decide who their chairperson is.
Okay.
Correct, but if you look, but we appoint the members and the associate members accordingly. And what I was saying was, when I read through this Board of Appeals,
This,
no.
the applications that were sent in, even though
Yeah.
they appear to be pencil whipped, you'll note that there are listed on the sheet that we have in front of us, the master list,
right.
the members have changed roles. So Bill Liz, for example, is listed as an associate here 1 year, but it's a member on the form. Thomas Stapleton, member, so that would be, I'm not sure what he is.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Mr. Gregoire says chairman, so I'm assuming that would mean member.
He's a member.
And then Chris Mastriani, member. He's an associate on this list. And then Dave Methy, associate. He is I'm not sure how, if he's a member and not an associate now. So it looks to me like they almost submitted it how they'd like to see it done. Michael Parent, associate member again.
Right.
So it looked like Methy and Mastriani changed places.
Because I believe once the town attorney started looking into the issue of the board and the appointments, he went back to the clerk's office and they gave Cindy updated information. And of course, we know this issue is gonna be addressed with that new software tracking information that we approved at town meeting. That they're gonna be acquiring shortly.
Doug, would you like to make a suggestion on who you'd like to have the 1-year appointment, the 3 for the full members and the 2 for associate?
So we're gonna lose one.
Right.
Lose
Some-
one associate.
Or
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, that's
The
the
bylaw
request,
allows for it.
but it's up to us
Can have 3
to,
regular members and 3 associates.
Right.
Only can have
So I
2.
think what happens, if you go back to 2016, when someone submitted a memo, it said 3 associate members, and you can only have 3 regulars and 2 associates.
Because there was a copy of she's right, there was a copy of the bylaw from chapter 180.
Yeah, I pulled it out.
Or was it, she says it's in this packet right here.
I can get the code book and give it to you.
That's fine. So
I don't know why it's not in here, but it was in.
basically, you're just gonna move,
well, you can do whatever you want.
well, I certainly would, I don't know.
I mean, you've been following the Board of Appeals and attending some of their meetings, so I would look for, certainly respect your opinion on how you think the makeup of the board
Well, I
would be
think,
best for the town of South.
I certainly would like to elevate Mr. Liz to be a full member of that board. He's there every meeting, he's providing
Yes,
the
he
input.
should be a full
He's-
member of that board.
Yeah, he absolutely should. And, Mr. Stapleton and Mr. Mastriani have been at every meeting that I've been to as
Yep.
well, and I wouldn't have any objection to having those guys on the board. And then, I know Dave Methy has been on that board for a long time, and he provides a service to that board just from the length of his service to the town, and knowledge in this space. So, that kind of gives you a great mix of experience and some new blood on the board. I know Mr. Parent had been a longtime resident of Westfield and moved to Southwick. He had been on the Board of Appeals in Westfield for many, many years prior to, I don't want to age him, but a while.
Yeah.
In Westfield prior to moving to our town. So he's a valuable addition to that board as well. So I would defer, or, we can look at those guys right there as your members, and then have others be associates, or we can look for other applications in that space.
You still gotta get rid of one.
We gotta get rid of one.
I did.
Which one?
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry, it must not have.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so, name the 3 members.
Bill, Les.
Bill Liss, Mike Parent,
Yep.
Tom Stapleton.
So those are three. And then the two associates would be Dave
David and
Methy
Chris.
and Chris. Okay. Make it an informal motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I think we need to recognize Mr. Gregoire for his years of service to the town.
Absolutely.
But we have to correct this, and that's what we're going to try to work with. All right, so we've taken care of Board of Appeals.
Assessment we did.
Okay,
Well, we just kind of walk through this, right? Assessment's done, weights and
why
measures
that's there
is
again.
done.
Yep.
Because we did
Yep.
something different now, right?
yep.
Yes.
Okay, gas and plumbing is all set already?
It will be, I mean, we'll
Oh,
have to
you-
bring
that's plumbing, you
forward,
have, yeah, that,
Right.
that.
Yep.
Wiring? Set's done?
Mhm.
Electrical?
Yep.
Done?
Yep.
Yeah, because we also have,
City of Westfield.
City of
Just
Westfield.
making sure we did it all, what we're doing supposed to.
Right.
But we should actually, why isn't his name on here, Cindy? Who printed this out? Cindy, who
From the
typed this?
treasurer's office.
This new one here? Because we should put the Westfield inspector on there anyway as the one under, and I think, what's his name, Joe? Sean Sopa?
Don't remember.
Cal?
Sean?
It's Sean? Yeah, we have to add Sean Stopa.
And he's the wiring, right?
Yeah. So we have to add them both as wire inspectors. Okay?
So Johnson and Sopa.
Stopa.
Is he, are they both assistant?
No, Sean
this
is the
one
lead
set-
inspector.
Number one is Sean.
Okay.
Number two
Okay.
is Johnson.
Right, because that's the way the building inspector's gonna want it.
Yeah.
And so all those are taken care of except for the sealer of weights and measures?
Agricultural Committee,
There was a new applicant for that committee as well, correct?
Yeah.
and I think they can have as many as they want because they need as much help as possible.
I don't think they can have, I don't think it's unlimited, but yeah, they can.
We still got room, so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Agricultural Committee is done, and we'll add the
That's for
new
1 year, right?
1 year. All right, Community Preservation, we have,
Yeah, I don't know, I keep seeing appointed people, but designees of boards are not appointed under the selectmen's
Right.
floor. So I'm not sure why this is showing up here.
So what is your suggestion? Should I contact Conservation, Park and Rec, and Historical and find out?
That's not
No,
our
they
purview.
report
will
their,
report
like I
to-
said today, they
We don't have
report
to make
their
a decision
people to
on
the
them.
clerk's
They're nothing to
office.
do with
That's the
us.
only thing
Right.
that happens.
Right.
Okay.
And it's-
so I
The
should-
only ones that the board does is
Is-
their four
okay.
that they do under the bylaw.
So
Right.
I'll let the clerk's
And-
office
and-
know that we
But
should
who are the
have them on
four?
here.
it appears that there's one of our appointment
That's.
it needs to be appointed.
Right.
Correct?
Because theirs is done.
Right,
And we,
Yes.
and we have
You
two
really only can
applicants.
do it for a year.
Right, and we
So
got,
then the next
So
election
the
cycle.
four appointees are, you just need to look at your four appointees. That's your problem.
but they're not up every year.
Only one is.
only one is up this year.
But I'm not sure if the bylaw changed that, but
Nope.
the town meeting.
Well,
The
It
bylaw
may
didn't void the
when,
previous appointments, right?
Right, but it would make this go down to 1 year.
Of course.
all right. So we have two that put in?
You have this Marissa Cook Obregon, correct?
Yeah.
With her resume and everything else
She
from our
wants to be
town.
on conservation. and-
We just appointed her to the Ag Committee. And John H. Wally, but he is currently the,
Appointed to the.
right, through the Park
He's
and
the
Rec.
designee
Oh,
of Park
okay,
and
she
Rec.
is,
Right.
yep.
but we don't know if his term is up or not. So why don't we hold this down till the next meeting and understand when those terms are for 2 years, I believe, maybe 3. I thought it was 2.
So you're questioning who? Horchak?
All of them, no, I'm not questioning Hardcheck, his up.
He's up.
But we have,
Okay.
The people that come from the other boards, he wants to know what their terms are when they start and
Okay.
end.
correct, because if
Okay.
he's already appointed by Park and Rec and that term's not expired, we can't
Right.
appoint him again.
Correct.
Okay.
So,
They really shouldn't even be on here, right?
correct.
Correct.
But there's also one missing. So you have Conservation, Park and Rec, Historical Planning is missing from this list. It
housing.
shouldn't even be on this list, but we need to understand when there's,
When they
those
would
terms
be-
are up.
Right.
Mostly for Park and Rec, because now Mr. Wally's applied to this board to be appointed at large.
Housing also.
And housing, correct. Thank you.
Okay.
And so you have Mr. Wally and one or two other applicants that are looking to get on the CPC.
Correct. So we need to understand how many seats are open.
How many seats are, oh, that
So
we
I know the
control?
planning board voted
Right.
in the previous meeting to send somebody to that
Yeah.
board, right? That's a 2-year
Yeah,
term, I believe.
they gave something in our mail designating them.
I saw it in, yeah, it's in this mail packet here somewhere. I think it's
So
Dave
is our
Spina.
bigger question, the other three that are not up for reappointment by the select board, are they still staying on?
Or is there, so
Right.
Chris Pratt was the conservation rep.
Right.
But was he reappointed last year, or is he up this year by conservation? If he's being reappointed by conservation, that's fine. If he's
Right.
not, he has not applied to be a selectman's appointee to that commission.
Right.
But,
Understood.
but John Wally is the Park and Rec
Understood.
one. I don't know when it's up, but
Right.
now he's applied to be the at-large or the
Understood.
selectman's appointee.
Sure.
We
Well, I
can't
think the
appoint him if
answer-
he's already appointed.
Understood.
So that's all. So at
Yeah.
our next meeting, we should have that
And I think
explanation.
your answer for Chris is right there, because that's for 3 years and it's now. So he is up, according to this.
And then our other three designees from the select board who are not up,
They're not up.
they're not up, but do they plan on staying on until, that's my other
Good question, till May, essentially, one
Right.
more year.
Right, or
Right.
not, and we're gonna be needing to appoint them.
Well, none of them have turned in a resignation.
Okay, perfect.
So we
That's
don't
what I'm
have,
getting at.
we don't have to worry
We
don't
about
have to
presume they're
poke that
continuing
pig
to
anymore.
receive
it.
nothing
But
from
didn't
them.
Beth put in, an
CPC request.
what was that?
Beth Thomas,
Beth Thomas put in
she
too?
it's a new request for appointment.
All right.
Yeah, we had that last week.
So
or something.
I wouldn't have any problems putting Beth on to fill this position. I know you're saying hold off, but
Well,
one of the things we did in the past, we didn't want the committee stacked with members on the same elected board. So even if Mr. Wally put in for the position, they're already got a member from the Park and Rec, and he's a member of the Park and Rec. So I would not be in favor of appointing him at large.
Fair enough.
What,
I'd just like to know the answer.
No, I would too, and I
Yeah.
agree with you, but I heard loud and clear at that town meeting, once the pitchfork stopped getting hit, that they wanted new blood. So Beth Thomas is new blood.
And she attended all the meetings.
so who would she be replacing?
So
Mr. Harach.
Mr.
his term
Harach.
has expired.
His term is up.
I'll make a motion
I'm
for
making
Beth
that.
Thomas to take that
Open,
1
that
year
one
stint.
open slot,
one open slot on the, is it CPC?
right.
Okay.
And it's a one-year appointment.
1
So
year.
1 year
okay.
appointment or till the election.
Okay.
Need a second? I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One abstention.
One abstention. Okay. So community preservation is done. Conservation, I mean, somebody could figure this out, but I again would suggest
I'm
a
not appointing
one-year
anybody.
appointment for anybody that is up this year.
Right. Fine.
Can we make that informed motion?
So
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was appointing everybody back?
why not?
Anybody that's up, due to be reappointed this year, has a one-year appointment.
Okay. So everybody's
It didn't take this long when I was chairman.
I know. Cultural council is, did we already take care of cultural town?
No, not these two.
Not these two.
No, and you could have like 9 of them, so
Yeah.
these
Okay.
two would be fine.
Motion,
Motion.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Steve and Maria.
1 year?
One
Now,
year.
I'd have to check into that because the cultural council.
They might be,
State.
it's a state. All right, can the CAO verify and whether it's a 1 year or a 3-year
I do
appointment?
have the information
Okay.
on that, I'll show you tomorrow.
Okay.
Carl.
All right, health inspector, we're all set. Historical commission, we had
Well,
Ellen
you know,
Miles.
that's advertised, Mr. Chairman, so we don't-
Okay, Ellen Miles has resigned. So it looks like we have David Gunn, Lee Hamburg, and Barbara Phelps. But we are advertised for more
yeah,
members.
we do have some openings.
So we could at least appoint those three, reappoint for a year. A motion?
But didn't Ellen
I'll make that
Miles,
motion.
hold on.
Ellen,
Ellen Miles
we left her off.
resigned. We left
We
her
left her
off.
off.
I said
We
3.
did Gunn, Hamburg, and Phelps.
Right.
Right.
There's a motion made and
like a law
seconded.
firm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Jessica Thornton, we took care of tonight. I think
Now,
that's all I had. Is that
can
correct?
Yeah.
Can you appoint Gower to the 250?
Need a
So
mo-
moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
From It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Gower?
Yeah.
I think he
That was a
poisoned the
good
kid.
reference out of no, well, it was an accident, and then the guy saved his life in the end. He didn't actually poison the kid.
Okay.
Best movie ever.
What was the name of that?
Mr. Gower, the pharmacist in It's a Wonderful Life.
And they're making a Broadway show. And Paul McCartney's going to write the music for it.
Is he really?
Yes.
They better hurry.
He's playing the part of Mr. Gower.
And
Paul's gonna say.
appoint Mr. for LMC.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Murph? I don't know.
as a non.
Voting member.
You making
As an
that
associate.
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 You
I'll
making
make
that for a
I'll make that
motion?
motion.
I'd gladly second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Voting associate.
All right.
And what about the two cable and
Mr.
15.
Moglen is still working on that.
No,
He's,
well,
oh,
In the
You know
last
what?
set of minutes, yeah, Doug was,
Yeah, let's
the
pick.
minutes you typed,
Yeah.
you'd have Doug as designated.
yeah, he was
Yep.
gonna talk to.
I will review those and reach out to those people in the next 2 weeks. Get that committee, see who's interested, and I think we got enough people to be on it now.
Okay, so just so you know, I'll let you know tomorrow who we have letters of interest for you.
Yes, please.
Okay.
all right. So that concludes, well, old business.
Why don't we ask the chief if he's got anything under old business?
Fire Chief Anderson. Anything under old business that you'd like to discuss?
Am I supposed to do?
How much money we owe now?
I'll be meeting with you later.
Oh, how about something new that arrived in
Anything new
town?
and shiny, or?
New ladders has arrived.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you.
Didn't get a rotary, or, cul-de-sac, but, still.
Is it red?
It is.
Is it lettered?
Red and white it is.
Yep. Everything's spelled right. It's perfect.
Awesome.
Departments.
Yes, I've seen it.
I haven't seen
You
it.
were there. I saw
I heard
it.
everybody
You were
was
teasing me
licking it
about
and touching it, and
I know,
there's fingerprints everywhere.
Russ would like to have a picture with it later if you still want to, that's fine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Excellent job.
Thank you very
Finally,
much,
Put him in.
especially for all the hard work
Yes.
of you and
And
your
the deputy.
staff and the committee members.
It's a long road.
Yes, I
Good
guess so.
Actually, it wasn't that long though. I mean, you really put
work.
it
It actually
together.
manufactured pretty quick,
Yeah,
everything considered.
considering.
But, well, we got that through a cooperative purchasing association bid, so it went a lot faster than
Yeah,
a traditional.
What happens with the old one?
Remember, you also have another truck on
And
it,
I handed it to Keith.
Another truck ordered.
the pumper.
Right, but did we go
That
through
went
that
through.
one in Texas?
It's all back. See you later.
Wasn't there a cooperative bid in Texas?
You're
or
in a surplus there, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
that's the one that this ladder truck. is.
That's where it came from.
We just
Okay.
drive it around town for a couple days at first.
Well, I was trying to. He's not gonna have the keys, so
All right.
Yeah, now I need to get it registered and all that good stuff.
can we
Okay.
use it not registered though? It can go
No.
out, right?
They still
Who's gonna pull them over?
They own half of it.
Yeah.
Depends which half we.
The back half we want to put the plates on.
I'll keep paying for it then.
All right, old business.
I didn't know if the chief was here waiting for something else. I just wanted to give you the opportunity.
No,
He's
we're
staying.
gonna have an executive session with two chiefs later on.
Fantastic.
The Council on Aging garage is coming along. Special, a beam had to be ordered and designed, but it's coming. It's being delivered shortly, and it'll be installed
Okay, and our meeting with the Council on Aging is set for what day?
next Monday.
Next Monday,
For who, you?
on that
You?
issue of transportation, you're right.
Transportation.
That a boy.
I believe the board
No,
designated the chairman.
Is lunch
We
involved in
designated
that? $2 for
Our
lunch?
oldest elder to deal with that.
Well, they'll eat 2 hours before the meeting, if that's what you want,
okay.
but yes.
All right.
I think
No
Carl
added
said he was
salt?
going to take you out for lunch after. I think that's what I heard him say.
Oh, okay.
It's a breakfast lunch, isn't it? Yeah.
Early bird.
Early bird.
All right, so thank you for that. All right, any other old business?
I can't even.
All right, new business. Mrs. Steinhardt? You're all set? You're good? Mr. Beatty?
It's up to you.
Mr. Moglen? Is the board prepared to make a decision on the sergeant's position tonight?
I'm fine either way. I have a lot of questions still, but yeah, I'm fine.
Can have a discussion about it. We'll have
Yeah.
to make that, I mean, if you have questions about it, we could,
Yeah, I'd
We
like
can
to discuss
discuss
it a little
them.
further. Yeah.
All right.
Perfect. Chief. This position, is this, what shift is this?
This would be 2 4 to 12 shifts and 2 midnight shifts with a double in between.
This is that death shift that for some reason we had to have because we didn't have enough goddamn sergeants on at one time, and we did this whole production for it, and I'm not blaming you or anyone else, past or present, but we can't, and I shouldn't say we can't keep it filled. People are miserable on that shift.
I was miserable on the 3rd shift for 18 years, but I still did my job. When
No, and I get
takes it,
that.
I expect them to still take it, and they know what it is. They can change it. We can do 2 midnight shifts, then 2 day shifts. It is another option that you can work that way also. They've been choosing to do it that way because when you come off your day off, you get more time off technically. Whereas if you do it the other way, you get exactly 48 hours off. So there is a way, if it's that much of a burden for doing that double, they could go the other way, okay? But I will tell you, under our new management style, we are trying to work with a person that if he's working 4 to 12 and he has midnight, and he's assigned to court the next day on that, after that second, the double, we're accommodating to try and change that shift around, because number one, they can't do a triple. So I
Right.
think we are a lot more cognizant of the shift and the effect that it can have on the officer, but it is a tough shift, there's no doubt about it.
Do you think it was a shift we should have done?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I really do think we need a sergeant on any time,
Any shift you need a sergeant, right? I agree
For
with that.
liability reasons in today's age, you need someone with that rank, on that position.
It just seems to be a tough shift.
I get it, but I also think you can't look at that this sergeant is that shift, because
No,
in
well-
a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, or 2 months, it depends on how you look at
Yeah,
it.
Oh, yeah.
it'll be a week and a half for
that,
him.
That could all change again, and, maybe some other sergeant wants that shift, it's.
No, I
that's
just
a point in
wanted,
time, we put Miles on, what, a year ago?
Yeah, just about a year.
feels
so-
like 3, yeah.
Huh?
Feels like 3.
But it's been 1 year, so,
Right.
and before that, it was a while that shift, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's, I
No,
get
I-
it, you're gonna get into it, it's just like when we bring on a new officer, they usually get put
Third
on
shift,
nights,
right.
until someone leaves, and then you eventually move to a different shift, right?
Correct.
But I look at it more as, this is
I don't
this is the
just,
bench, right? This is what we're setting up the department as to, command staff, not to fill a shift.
correct, I agree with
That's
that.
how I look at it.
Yeah, I do too, but I just, that shift just seems to,
Oh, it's tough, no doubt.
Rattle the guys.
No doubt.
and no one's bitching, you just see it happen between anytime they can take off, or retiring, or
Hmm?
just like, okay, I'm out.
Miles was in January.
Yeah, it might have been only this January that we
Crocker
did.
was a year ago, and I think Miles was.
Yeah, Crocker was after, you've been a chief for exactly a year and a month, and Crocker came after you were chief, and then Miles, so it's only been 8 months.
Seems like years, yeah.
They're on
Only
probation
'cause
still.
the office, only
They're both
because
on.
Mike referenced
Literally.
They both are,
in January.
Okay.
technically, right? They both are still
On
on
probation.
probation.
Just a lot of moving
That
parts.
happens in a lot of organizations, you
I
get
get it.
wave retirements, that's
Sure.
what you're dealing with, and as you call it, the bench.
My questions are, I mean, that was my,
That's it?
yeah, just, because we didn't talk about that, like you brought up the dog, I thought that was a great idea. Like, where does the dog play or not play into the whole world?
Well,
You know?
my thought was frankly on that was that, they get called, not all the time, but
No, they
fairly
do get called,
frequency.
yeah.
I gotta go here with the dog, I gotta do this with the dog, I gotta go to training with the dog. I thought we trained the guys hard, the dog trains as much as,
It does.
but, but he gets called to Agawam,
Sure.
Long Meadow, Palmer, Ware,
Right. out and
whatever,
about.
wherever they need the dog. And, what is that impactful on this new role? You know, if you're the shift commander now and you get called out, I guess it is what it is, we're without a shift commander. And then if you get called out and you're the sergeant, now whoever is the patrol,
Senior officer.
it becomes the shift commander. So I mean, it's not as big a deal, but I didn't want to get it out there because it is a difference between the three applicants. He chose to take on that role and responsibility for that dog, and it comes with, you know, being called to I don't think it's disqualifying. I just wanted to get it looked at it and get his take on it.
And if I may, from an administrative standpoint, that's the nature of the beast because we are a small department, so many people have other roles. I have a sergeant that's a 4 to 12 sergeant. Many times I have to drop him down because he has the role of being our computer administrator. So he isn't the only person that's faced with that, of being pulled off of that shift for other needs that he has, you know, within the department or with other agencies, you know, that.
What he's referring to is his right of assignments.
Right.
All these functions, school resource officer, you know, K-9, they're all rights of assignment under the chief's prerogative.
Which is not the only one that has that, those type of things where we do have to pull people off the
Accommodate
shift
for
as
other
a
people.
sergeant.
Yeah, there's plenty of them.
Somewhere,
No, I get it.
place them
Yeah,
somewhere else for
good
that.
point.
Right.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
Are you looking for a nomination?
Well, do you want to make the decision tonight, or you want to hold off?
You're the chairman.
Okay, you're comfortable? You're comfortable?
Yeah.
All right. All right, I know we always say this, but this is absolutely true. The last time there was 4 people here, we said any one of the 4 could do it.
Absolutely.
Tonight, we got 3 of those back. Any 3 can do it. I think that they all had, I think, better interviews than they did the last time. So I think I've seen improvement in all 3.
Right.
Unfortunately, just like we said the last time, we can only choose one. So if I had to make the call, and my call would be Officer Taggart. I think that he has done an outstanding job as the resource officer. He took that initiative, really turned things around up there. We thought we had it good before, but really turned it around. And I think our kids are a lot safer now in the town of Southwick than they've ever been. So I would give him the nod on that over Officer Arduini and Officer Westcott. And not to take anything away, Officer Arduini went and finished his education, and Mike, of course, is doing an outstanding job with the dog. But that would be my.
See, I would go with Arduini, and then I would have went Westcott, and then Taggart. And that's just me. I go by the years with Arduini. That third shift thing is weird anyways, because the minute you say that they sit there and they die out there, your best friend did a lot on both shifts.
Right.
You know, so things can happen.
Yeah.
I think he's got the experience, he's older, with the training issues, I think it's a win-win, and I think same with Westcott. You know, the guys are all up and coming. In 3 years or 6 years, you're gone. I don't know what number that is. And then you're gonna be right in the same field with all these guys. I mean, because this is your, I don't even call it a bench anymore, this is your future supervisors, period.
Yep.
So, that's my opinion, that's how I ranked them. And
It's almost like we need 5 guys. Well, first of all,
it's all good.
I was very pleased to hear that they spoke about that the level of training and the amount of training they're getting is increasing, and that they're seeing that under the new chief. I think that's huge, and I think it's a compliment to the chief and a compliment to the guys that they're availing themselves of the training, asking for training, and getting it. I had them ranked differently than the other 2 guys. I have Mike first, and then I had it was a toss-up between Roger and Mike for me. I actually probably had Taggart second and Arduini third. But again, it's brutally close. Close. I just think it's I
agree with you.
Mike just wears it on its sleeve, and I know he's going to do a great job at this. I know he's going to be awesome at this and just own it. I just know it. And we have to be. I think as a board, we have to come to. I like it when we agree with each other. I think this is a difficult one because they're so they're so
Evenly
close.
matched,
But
right.
I think, as a board, we need to, this is something that we should, we try to make these things unanimous to show support for
We do.
the candidate and the person. So Mr. Chairman, I don't envy your position at this moment. I don't know how you want to proceed. If you'd like a motion, or if you would like to table and continue for 2 weeks while we mull it over, or, I don't know, it's up to you.
I would switch mine to Westcott first. Because I think, I agree with you, I think they're both even for the most part. I just go with the years of the other gentleman. But you're right, Michael does wear it on his sleeve. So I would go that route if I had to.
All right, so we have a majority, so I think you can make a motion.
I'll make the motion for Michael Westcott as the next sergeant.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous vote.
That's not easy.
Could you
No.
notify everyone before the press does?
Yes, sir, gentlemen, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You got 5 minutes.
Any other new business before we go into executive session? All right, then Cindy, the notice to read to go into executive session.
Yes, it's
It should be below your thing.
Oh,
That was brutal.
okay. All right, we will be going into executive session, not to reconvene. Executive session regarding Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, 2 and 3, Chapter 214, Section 1B, and CMR 29.03, 1
Want to grab me water?
and B, regarding litigation, fire chief regarding SFD union and non-union negotiations, police chief, SPD union and non-union collective bargaining. Exceptions 2 and 3. Exception 2, move to go into executive session to conduct strategy sessions, preparations for negotiation with non-union personnel. 2, and move to go into executive session to conduct collective bargaining sessions with non-union personnel. 2, move to go into executive session to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel. And 2, exception 3, move to go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, and that the chair declare that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the body. And 2, move to go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, that the chair declare that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigation position of the body. And 2, regarding Chapter 214, Section 1B, a person shall have the right against unreasonable, substantial, or serious interference with his privacy. The Superior Court shall have jurisdiction and equity to enforce such right in connection therewith to award damages. I need a motion.
Joe DDI.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Russ Fox, aye. We thank you very much. We're going to be meeting with the two chiefs, so,
Got your booklets.
yep. Are these mine?
Yeah.
Hopefully no